PvP can be tedious. It can be difficult to get used to, but even when you do, and you've played it for years, it will still have its ups and downs. That counts especially for those weirdos 1vxing and playing outnumbered. You know, instead of fighting with your alliance for king and country, while getting steamrolled by every ball group. Either way, you need to constantly pay attention and switch between offense and defense to make things work. Sometimes we all would like it a little easier. A breather would be welcome. Some might even want to avoid PvP altogether. And while you could say to all of that skill issue, now I'd like to say to that Cyrodiil Angler. I'm revisiting this older build of mine and seeing how it works now, a year later. First, a quick overview for those that haven't seen this build in action yet. This one-bar tank build is designed for two kinds of people. First, there's those who don't actually want to PvP and just want to run around in Cyrodiil for quests or skyshards, or carry a relic in battlegrounds. If you ever felt scared from trying PvP and want to see what Cyrodiil is actually like, or in other words you are a tourist in an active war zone, this all-class build is also for you. Second, there's those that want an effective yet ridiculously easy tank build for fun. It's one of the easiest builds I have ever played in this game, comparable to the Oaken Soul heavy attack builds in PvE. You don't see that often, as PvP is normally more about quick reactions and simple hold down this button builds are rarely effective. Getting into the build itself, I will start by going over the sets. Those are Battalion Defender and Cyrodiil's Crest, combined with Oaken Soul and the one-piece monster set, either Magma Incarnate or Baron Tursk. Battalion Defender and Cyrodiil's Crest are very similar 5-piece sets, which give healing while blocking. Those sets are the reasons this build exists, as it allows you to tape down block and heal up easily at the same time. It's the backbone the rest of this build revolves around. As this build is made to be super easy, I've combined this with the Oaken Soul Mythic, which makes it a simple one-bar setup. Combine this with the 1 or 2 passive skills I usually slot, and you only have 3 skills and an ultimate to manage. The one-piece monster set completes the gear with some extra sustain. All these sets are easy to get as well. You can simply buy it in guild stores or in Cyrodiil without needing to farm dungeons or trials for weapons. Oaken Soul can be a grind, but even that is not a necessity, as I've ran this build without it before. This further emphasizes the easy mode theme of the build. For the traits and enchants, everything is again simple and easy to get. Full health enchants on the armor, block cost reduction enchants on the jewelry and escapist poisons on the weapon. All gear pieces are sturdy, except for the chest, which is reinforced, the jewelry is infused and the one-handed weapon trait is powered. This simply maximizes the amount of blocking you can do, which goes hand in hand with the set choice. I'll come back to the escapist poison later. The gear is the same for every class, but when it comes to the skills it's going to be a little different. The idea is the same though, slot heals that scale with your max health as much as you can and use the strongest defensive class skills. Combine that with defensive stance or lingering flare and you have a skill setup that provides both extra resistance and healing on top of your gear. You want to keep any heals over time and buffs active and save the burst heal for only when you're low on health. The ultimate, Spell Wall, allows you to automatically block and you can use this respite to heavy attack 2 or 3 times and refill your stamina pool completely. Optional skills to slot are those that give mobility, most prominently Mistform. If you can survive like a tardigrade and have the mobility to escape out of tough situations, you have the best chance of living through anything. On Warden, Templar, Dragon Knight, Necromancer and Nightblade, this skill setup works perfectly fine. On Sorcerer this is difficult, as this class is permanently crippled for healing options in any build, including this one. But the Arcanist is a different story. Not only does it have really good base sustain, it also provides 3 excellent health scaling heals. Runic Embrace is a cheap spam build that applies minor lifesteal and generates Crux. Impervious Rune Ward is one of the best burst heals in the game that you can cast while you have 3 Crux. Runeguard of Freedom gives excellent buffs, including immovability and acts as an automatic life-saving heal. This makes the Arcanist by far the most effective class for this build, but that doesn't take away that it'll work perfectly well on any class or race for that matter. As for the champion points, the idea is to spend everything in extra healing or damage reduction. Soothing Shield acts as a budget version of Battalion Defender, and Cutting Defense may not give any healing or damage reduction, but will proc your escapist poison. That's an automatic source of immovability, which is highly important for a tank build, together with immovability potions. Normally, getting CC'd while getting hammered on by 10 or 20 players is one of the main causes of death for a tank. And this counts for Cyrodiil Angler as well, since blocking is even more important. Getting a high uptime on the movability is the best way to counter that, as well as a high block uptime, so you can only get stunned by a few skills such as Javelin and Streak. It also means that breaking free quickly is one of the only quick reactions required to play this build. Okay, that's a lie, just slot Slippery and the game does that for you as well. The auxiliary build items can also increase your tankiness, so it's important to get Vampire Stage 3 for the Undeath passive, Tri-Stat Food for higher block uptime, health and an easier time managing your magicka, a tanky ray such as Nord if you have one, and the Aetherlock Mundus for most of your healing skills. This is the optimal tankiness this build can achieve. If you still want to kill Cyrodiil or Imperial City mobs, there are some changes you can make to add a little damage to this build. Change the Oakensol Mythic to a mythic or monster set that gives damage or sustain and allows you to bar swap, use a damage oriented arena weapon and fill the second bar with damage skills. Then you are good to go for that as well. So there you have it, the Cyrodiil Angler build is complete. As always, if you want to read up on all the specifics of this build, it is also available on my website. Maybe next time you encounter a skill issue, such as a ganker or a sweaty group chasing you from Nickel to Dragonclaw, remember that PvP has an easy mode as well.